Ominous ambient music, slow pan over forest at night. Narrator, calm, dramatic. When we head into the wild, we search for peace, the crackle of firewood, the stillness of the trees, the silence of a world untouched. But sometimes, nature hides more than beauty. Sometimes it hides tragedy. Tonight, we uncover 5 true stories of ordinary people whose camping trips turned into nightmares. These are the real-life wilderness tragedies you'll never forget. 1. The Bucks Lake Tragedy, California 2015, 41-240. Footage, drone shot of forested mountains and lake water reflecting moonlight. It began as a celebration of youth and freedom. On August 21, 2015, 20-year-old Trevor Hinsky and his best friend Sheldon Stewart, 23, left the East Bay for a weekend camping trip at Bucks Lake in California's Plumas National Forest. Trevor was a sound engineering student, newly accepted into the Marines. Sheldon worked as a chef in Oakland. For Trevor, this trip was to be his last adventure before duty. They arrived late that Friday night, setting up a rough camp near the Sandy Point Day Use area, unaware that a proper campground sat just a few yards away. Under a canopy of stars, the friends decided to push the limits. They had used LSD before, but this time Trevor wanted what he called the ultimate trip. Each man took roughly 10 doses. In the early hours of August 22nd, smoke rose above the trees. Campers nearby spotted flames licking through the brush and called emergency crews. When firefighters arrived, they found Sheldon Stewart barely conscious, blood soaking his shirt. He had deep puncture wounds across his neck. When the fire was finally extinguished, crews made a horrifying discovery. At the bottom of the fire pit lay a charred body, riddled with stab wounds. It was Trevor Hinsky. Sheldon told police that Trevor had attacked him, that he fought back in self-defense. But the neat pattern of wounds on his own neck suggested something else. Under questioning, Sheldon broke down. He admitted that, during the LSD trip, he stabbed his best friend to death, then burned the body, sitting beside the fire smoking one of Trevor's cigarettes. In June 2017, a jury found Sheldon Stewart guilty of first-degree murder and arson. He was sentenced to 26 years to life in prison, the end of a friendship and a life, both consumed by madness and flame. 2. The Pine Basin Tragedy, Idaho 2023, 241-410. Soft morning sounds fade into the thud of a falling tree. It was supposed to be a simple family getaway. On September 9, 2023, Quinn and Natasha Easton from Paul, Idaho packed their 8 children, including 8-year-old twin girls Cadence and London, and their family dog, heading for Boise National Forest. They chose a quiet, dispersed campsite near Anderson Ranch Reservoir, surrounded by tall pines and open sky. The area had once burned in the 2013 Elk and Pony Complex fires, leaving weakened soil and damaged roots. Before dawn, while the family slept, tragedy struck without warning. A massive pine tree, silent, rotted from within, snapped and crashed directly onto their tent. The impact crushed everything beneath it. Deputies raced to the scene, but it was too late for little Cadence Easton and the family dog. Her twin sister and parents survived, but the loss was unbearable. There had been no storm, no wind, no warning. Just one weakened tree, and a family forever changed. Within days, their small town raised over $31,000 to help with funeral expenses. Cadence was remembered as a bright light who loved the outdoors. Her story became a haunting reminder. Even in peace, nature has power beyond control. 3. The Dyatlov Pass Incident, Russia 1959, 4/11/6:30. Cold wind and distant blizzard sounds. In the frozen north of the Ural Mountains, a group of 10 skilled hikers from the Ural Polytechnic Institute set out on a winter expedition. Their leader, 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov. Their goal, the mountain Otorten, its name meaning, "Don't go there." On January 25, 1959, the team began their trek. Days later, one member, Yuri Yudin, fell ill and returned home, unknowingly saving his life. By February 1st, The remaining 9 pitched their tent on the slope of a peak known to locals as Dead Mountain. That night, something unimaginable happened. The hikers cut open their tent from the inside and fled half-clothed into the snow. They never returned. When rescuers found the camp weeks later, the tent stood untouched, food, boots, and coats still inside. Bare footprints led into the forest. 2 bodies lay beneath a cedar tree, nearly naked, their hands burned from trying to keep warm. 3 more were found between the tree and the tent, frozen mid-crawl as if trying to return. All had died of hypothermia. 2 months later, the final 4 were found deep in the ravine under 13 feet of snow, with massive internal injuries, broken ribs, crushed skulls. 1 woman's tongue and eyes were missing. Some clothing carried traces of radiation. Soviet investigators concluded the deaths were caused by an unknown compelling force. To this day, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of history's coldest mysteries. A story whispered across the snows of Russia, with no clear answers. The Dingo Attack, Australia 1980, 6/31/805. Soft desert wind, distant baby cry fading into silence. At Uluru, in the heart of Australia's outback, the Chamberlain family camped under the stars. Michael and Lindy Chamberlain brought their 3 children, including 9-week-old Azaria. On August 17, 1980, around 8 p.m., Lindy heard her baby cry from the tent. She turned and saw a dingo running away. Something small clutched in its jaws. She screamed words that would echo through history. "A dingo's got my baby." Despite frantic searches, baby Azaria was gone. A week later, her blood-stained jumpsuit was found 2 miles away. Police, however, refused to believe the dingo story. They accused Lindy of murder. After a sensational trial, Lindy Chamberlain was convicted and sentenced to life in prison, even giving birth to another child behind bars. Years later, in 1986, a hiker fell near a known dingo den. During the search for his body, police found Azaria's missing matinee jacket, exactly as Lindy had always described. The discovery proved the dingo attack was real. Lindy was released, later exonerated and compensated, but the damage was done. Her ordeal forever changed Australia's wildlife policies and stands as one of the greatest miscarriages of justice in modern history. 5. The Lake Bodom Nightmare, Finland 1960, 8/06/950. Sounds of water lapping against shore, faint laughter fading into silence. On the calm shores of Lake Bodom, 4 teenagers pitched a tent on June 4, 1960. 2 girls, Mila Björklund and Anja Tuulikki-Maki, both 15, and their boyfriends Seppo Boisman and Niels Gustafsson, both 18. As dawn broke between 4 and 6 a.m., their tent was attacked from the outside by an unknown assailant, using both a knife and a blunt object. 3 teens were slaughtered. Only Niels survived, his jaw shattered, face fractured. He claimed to have seen a figure dressed in black with glowing red eyes. When police arrived, the crime scene was chaos, contaminated by curious onlookers. The killer left no weapon, no clear motive. Over decades, suspicion fell on several locals, including a kiosk owner known to hate campers, and even on Niels himself. He was finally tried in 2004, 44 years later, but acquitted. The Lake Bodom murders remain unsolved, a dark legend whispered by Finnish lakeside fires, where every rustle of branches feels like the past reaching out. Closing, 9:51:10. Slow fade-in of melancholic music. Narrator from the woods of California to the icy peaks of Russia. From the deserts of Australia to the quiet lakes of Finland, every campsite holds a story. Some are tales of laughter and stars, others of mystery and tragedy. Beat, stay safe, campers, and remember, sometimes the scariest stories are the true ones. Subscribe for more real-life mysteries and true tragedies.